and so on. So these sentences are linking the new ideas together. This is where the children are learning the new ideas. After we've read 2 or 3 sentences, what questions do these sentences answer for us about how women lived in ancient Egypt? What's the main idea of the paragraph? We've read a paragraph. What's the picture in that paragraph, and so on? And so I'm still scaffolding the students to really apply these strategies. Towards the end, I'm going to want to review the main ideas. What have we learned so far? How was living in ancient Egypt for women different from living in modern Melbourne? Let's review the key vocabulary. What images do we link with the words? How would we say them? Synonyms, actions with them, and so on. How would we talk about the key ideas? Why did women in Egypt live like that, and so on? And then I want to go through automatising. So that's really the sequence of cueing strategies that are the high reliability literacy teaching procedures. Is that okay? And what I've done is I've told the children what to do each time. Now, there was a time when I had to teach each one of those. You see, not all the children may have been able to visualise effectively. So at one point in time, I probably needed to hold up 1 or 2 pictures and then put them down and have the children talk about what they saw in their minds. Imagine them changing. How the pictures look different in 5 minutes' time. What if it wasn't a rabbit there, but it was an elephant? Just still think the child would be teasing it. Having them manipulate, teaching them how to manipulate the pictures. I might have at one point needed to have taught them how to paraphrase, so that when I say paraphrase, they know what to do. Does this make sense? This is the scaffolding. Now, I can go on and do that, and it's easy to do. It's easy for me to do as a teacher. When I'm scaffolding the learning of a group of children, I'm really guiding and controlling their thinking. Now, earlier today, I think, Laura, you raised the issue of individual differences. Now, in your notes, I've given the example of 2 teachers. One teacher who gives the students, who says, okay, we're going to read about, it's the next slide actually. 2 teachers. One teacher says to the kids, okay, read the section about women in ancient Egypt, and then answer the questions at the end of the reading, and we'll go through and correct your work. And the second teacher, we're going to read the same text. We're going to read the section about women in ancient Egypt. As we go, I'll ask you to think about what each sentence says. I've left out a word there. Then we'll answer the questions and we'll correct your work. Now, if we look at those 2 teachers, which teacher has taken account of individual differences in what students know at the beginning of the lesson? In Teacher A's class, there may well have been some children who already knew something about ancient Egypt, and some children who knew nothing. All the children read the text. The Teacher A did nothing to bring together the students' existing knowledge. If we go back to what Teacher B did, Teacher B went through these 3 activities at the beginning of the lesson. And it's possible that all of the children had built up some existing knowledge about the text before the reading began. Now, initially, you weren't here earlier, were you? No, to say. I thought you weren't here earlier. Initially, in that class, there may have been 20 different little pockets of knowledge, whereas at the end, we've actually got the children, all of them, knowing a bit more about ancient Egypt. So in terms of accounting for individual differences at the beginning of the lesson, Teacher B, through the scaffolding, has actually accounted better for individual differences in knowledge. And then you say, okay, do the children in the two classes differ in how they think? Well, the chances are they do. That's another part of individual differences. Children differ in how they think. Some kids are very good at thinking in words. They gush words. We know that. We ask a question, and some kids, the words just gush out. With other kids, they have real difficulty putting their ideas into words. That's why we're making a big deal of it, getting them to talk about their images in words. Through the scaffolding, I'm really guiding all of the kids. I'm trying to control their thinking. And so I'm guiding all of them. I'm scaffolding the thinking of all of them so that we can get to the same outcome. Now, I believe by doing the scaffolding in that case, when I have the kids read a sentence and they listen to what they say, or when we come to words we don't know the meaning of, we all work together, or we work in small groups to work out what the words might mean. So I'm really scaffolding the thinking of the kids. See, what I'm wanting to argue is that I believe that Teacher B is doing far more to cater for individual differences than Teacher A. Is this okay? Laura, are you happy with this?
Yes, I'm happy, but I have a question.
Yep.
In the scaffolding, so
Yep.
if you're saying to the kids, or you say to the kids, okay, what would you see in here? Are you saying to ask, and it's a question of time, are you saying to ask each kid individually, or, I know there's all the techniques, I know all your stuff,
Yep.
blah, blah, blah. Do they write it down? Like, how do you know? Because, Jenny's going to answer three things and Johnny's not going to say anything.
Yep.
I'm still questioning, like, how
No.
you monitor that.
I will.
Even, like, imagine you're talking, what would you see here? You're going to go around individually.
I could. We could have think, pair, share, where after we've put up, I could put up 5 pictures related to women in ancient Egypt on my thing.
Even in think, pair, share.
Sorry?
Even in think, pair, share.
Yeah.
Jenny's going to talk a lot more than
No. But they can each write. Let's say we've got four sessions of Year 7 SOS, and in one session a week, I'm going to use think, pair, share, and I can show my 5 pictures of ancient Egypt. We can have a dialogue about it, and then I can have each child. The class has, say, 2 minutes to write down whatever they think of in relation to those pictures. Now, very quickly I can see that little Fred is not working. So I'm not going to sit at my desk. I'm going to be down beside little Freddie saying, okay, what's in your mind, mate? Have a go at just, okay, if you think the word was mask, what does it start with? Write down. Okay, let's write the next one, and so on. So I believe I can control the students' learning much more effectively by putting these things in place. Now, the fact that Jenny spontaneously remembered 10 and Freddie probably didn't get very far, does that mean that by the end of the lesson, Freddie will still not be very far and Jenny will be knowing 10? It doesn't. Freddie might know a whole lot more. It might be that Freddie knew things, but he didn't recall them. But when Jenny recalled them, they stimulate them in Freddie's mind. That doesn't matter. That's all good. He's going to end up knowing more. So, and if I were going to be looking at, say, think, pair, share, and I've got that class for 3 sessions, and there are 25 kids in the class, and I've got, say, 12 groups of 2, I can have 4 groups contribute in the first lesson.